So I'm out here on the patio getting ready to do a major cleaning of the patio rug, all the cushions. This is an annual event that I've been putting off a couple months waiting for good weather. And all this exercise equipment that's been sitting out here is filthy dirty. I haven't been using it. Need to blow that floaty up. So this is all getting a wash down as well as the patio itself. I was thinking about joining a gym, but I've got my hours cut back last week. And so now more than ever, I want to save money. And look at all this grubbiness, but I have a ton of exercise equipment. There is no reason to join a gym, especially if we'll be moving in a few months possibly. So I'm going to pull all of this out. I'm going to clean it all off. And I'm going to make myself an exercise plan. And these darn impatiens, I love these things being out on the patio, but oh, they make such a mess. And I've been telling myself I need to move them, but I really enjoy looking at them out the window. So the rug needs a cleaning, everything out here, everything needs a cleaning. And I'm gonna get on it so that I can start making the most of this patio while we're still living here. It really is a terrific setup. Here we are with a clean patio. Woohoo! My goodness, it was a lot of work. Wow, wow, wow. I got my workout today just cleaning this darn thing. But it feels so good to have it done. It has literally been on my list a solid 2 months. Got some rust here from a little plant stand. I'm hoping a magic eraser will get that off. And I gotta get with it and clean off all this exercise equipment now. It has really just piled up the dirt. Look at that yucky thing. I think that's gonna get thrown out. Hey everyone, I'm going to whip up some Italian bread for dinner tonight. It's 4 o'clock and I need to get on this because the rising time totals about an hour and a half, and then of course the bake time. So it is go time. And this recipe happens to call for 5.5 cups of flour. Sorry for the computer flipping. And normally I would only make one loaf of bread. This makes 2 loaves, but I have this great big crock that I keep on the sideboard full of flour. And it is, as you can see, down to the very bottom. Typically, I'll dump out the last dregs into a bowl, refill it, and then put the old stuff on top. But I'm so close to the bottom this time, I decided I'm going to use all of this up before I refill it, and I'll just keep ignoring my OCD urge to refill it until I've actually got it gone. I'll put the link down below. And what I have in here is the 1 packet of yeast and the 2 cups of warm water. And you can see my yeast has foamed up nice. And now the recipe says to put basically half of the flour, 3 cups in here, and beat it with a mixer for 3 minutes. So I'm going to get on that. I do not have one of those fancy KitchenAid standing mixers because I just am not an appliance girl in that way. Normally I make my bread by hand, but because this calls for 3 minutes of whipping half of the flour with the water and the yeast, and it's an Italian bread recipe, I figured I'd get out my hand mixer and give it a go. All right, so the dough is very soft, but I ended up having to use 6.5 cups of flour. But, at the end of the day, all that matters is the consistency, right? And I'm going to knead this for about 4 minutes. The usual bread recipe. I'm going to, like I said, finish kneading this. Then I'll grease the bowl, put the saran wrap on it, and let it sit for an hour. OMG, guys, after 5 hours, not including putting the patio back together, so call it 6 hours. We finally have it all done. It feels so great. The YAs have such a good idea for rearranging things. I don't have the cushions back on yet because they're still drying. Guys, my dough has doubled very nicely, very quickly. In less than an hour, it got all fluffy. So that's a good sign, right? Now I'm going to punch this down, divide it in two, shape it into 2 loaves, seam side down, put it on this pan, and let them raise another 30 minutes. I think I got a little more dough on that guy, but it doesn't matter. Getting ready to chop up some potatoes to boil for our mashed potatoes to go with the Tuscan chicken tonight. If you watched my Produce Wars video from this past weekend, I nabbed a 5-pound bag of these red potatoes at Save-A-Lot for $2.50. So I certainly don't want them going bad. It's only a good deal if you use it, right? On with the dinner show here. What I'm working on is the Tuscan chicken. My YAs like the chicken pounded fairly thin, so it's about a 1/2 inch high. And then that will easily cut into 6 or 7 pieces. That'll be way more than enough chicken for us. The recipe calls for salting, peppering, and Italian seasoning the chicken before you braise it in the pan. I don't know about you guys, but Italian seasoning is something we go through a lot around here. At least it's one of the few things that hasn't shot up too much in price, but I guess I shouldn't say that out loud because then it will. With preparing the little bit of veggies that go in this Tuscan chicken, it calls for a 1/4 cup of finely chopped yellow onion, and it's really just for flavoring the sauce. It's really flavor profile more about the sun-dried tomatoes than anything, and the spinach is in there for color to make it look fancy, I guess. It calls for 1/2 cup of sun-dried tomatoes. So you just give those a rough chop. 1 1/2 cups of fresh baby spinach. Well, I don't have any fresh spinach. I do have that frozen spinach that I thawed out and rinsed and have strained over there. In this recipe, you saute the spinach and cook it down so it's wilted anyway, so you can use frozen, not a problem. And if you don't have a fresh onion, because it is just for flavoring, you could easily use minced onion in this. So here are my Italian loaves. It says to cut 4 shallow slits in each loaf, which to me that's going to make them fall down, but what are you going to do, right? Maybe I'll cut slits in one and not in another one. I'm going to compromise that because that's really for looks, not flavor, right? I'm going to saute these French green beans that are fresh in this little pan, and I've got my red potatoes ready for mashing. Okay. Got a little bit of scraps of chicken there off of the edges. Cat, and a big pot of chicken leg quarters that I cooked for the cats for this coming week. Okay, so we have 2 tablespoons of olive oil heating up here over medium heat. We're going to sear the chicken. So over here, I have the mashed red potatoes. It has minced garlic, cream cheese, about 1/3 of a cup of half and half, and salt and pepper in there. It's all ready to go, just staying warm. Okay, so I've got my spinach, tomatoes, onions, and garlic in there. And now I've added the heavy whipping cream. And I'm also adding 1/4 cup of Parmesan cheese. I'm not measuring, I'm just eyeballing with my handy dandy make it rain grinder here. It will be delicious. I'm celebrating my first day of working from home by making a fabulous meal for my family, super deep cleaning our patio that really needed it, as well as all these other things I'm getting done today. Feeling good about it. Looking forward to this dinner. All right, here's the finished plate, you guys. I can't wait to dig into this delicious meal. I certainly earned it today. So I've got the patio back together. Woohoo! Really enjoying having it so thoroughly cleaned and reorganized and ready for working out. Got all the equipment over here. My exercise ball had a hole in it, so I've got to replace that. But I've got a bunch of hand weights and bands, yoga mats, a slide board, all kinds of things to use to work out. No reason to join a gym, right? Thanks for watching, guys. Have a great day.